He uses the gifts that I will allow him to use, because sometimes you think, is this from God? Is this right? Is this right? And then you don't speak it out, and someone else gets the message, and you think, wow, I think God did have something there. When I'm praying with someone some of the time and I'm thinking, is this me or is this God? And the only way that you can test that is actually to share with the person who say, well, I feel this is what God is saying for you, and but you have to test that for yourself and see if it is of God or if it's maybe me thinking it. But I think as you use the gifts, then you get bolder.
We'd gone to another church for a service when we were away, and after praying, I felt the Lord had a really clear message for somebody that I'd never met before in the congregation, and I went over to pray for her. And this woman was so relieved after I prayed for her. We found out she'd had the same cancer that I'd had, she was having the same treatment that I'd had, and she was having the same problems that I had. And not only could I pray for her, and she felt better just for being prayed for, but the practical side that she needed help with as well, because I'm a nurse, that I could help her with. And I'd got so much detail about this lady and her problems that it's such a privilege as a Christian to be able to come away from that and know that you've, helped somebody through God.
One of the gifts of the Spirit, I think, is the way in which sometimes he can give us a picture that helps us to understand or speaks into a situation. And for me, one of the most remarkable was when I was praying with a young woman and we were asking God to speak to us. And as I was praying for her, a picture came into my mind. And it was a very beautiful waterfall kind of picture. And I could describe it exactly to her, of the autumn leaves and the water flowing. And when I got to the end of describing this, I kind of said to God, what does that mean, God? What are you trying to say? And there were lots of things I could have said about water being refreshing, but none of that felt right. And so we just prayed that God would speak to us through it. But neither of us really knew where that picture came from. And so we just said thank you to God that he loved us, and we went on our way. The next day, this young woman rang me with great excitement in her voice. And she said that she had that morning in her kitchen over breakfast turned the calendar over because it was the first day of the month. And the picture on the calendar was exactly the picture that I'd described. And she said underneath it was a month which was too full of stuff. And God has been trying to tell her for a long time to get control of her diary and to think through how she used her time. And she knew she'd not been listening to him. She said, he really wanted to speak to me.
I also had the very unexpected experience of being in a hotel room in China on my own, saying Church of England evening prayer on my laptop and getting to the intercessions and then beginning to speak in tongues for the first time, which was, again, something that I'd been pretty suspicious of as a gift and not particularly desirous of for myself. I'd made my life as a broadcast journalist and thought I was pretty good with my tongue and lips and didn't need this kind of strange, miraculous gift, but God had other ideas.